All right, we need to talk about a huge shift that's happening behind the scenes in the tech world. It's a story that starts with artificial intelligence, but it's really about something much more fundamental: power. I'm talking raw electrical power.
At the end of the day, it really comes down to this simple truth. Every amazing thing that AI can do, whether it's writing code for you or discovering new drugs, it all starts with plugging something into a wall. But the sheer scale of that plugging in is creating a problem of a size we have never seen before.
And this problem? Well, it needs a solution that's a whole lot bigger than just buying a few renewable energy credits. We are talking about a fundamental change in how things work. Tech companies are shifting from just being energy consumers to becoming energy producers. Let's dive into exactly how this is all playing out.
What we're seeing here is a new kind of vertical integration, really. The same companies that are building our digital world are now being forced to build the energy infrastructure to power it. Why? Because our public grid it can't keep up.
And just look at who's involved. This is not some small niche trend. These are the biggest names in the game. Amazon, Google, Microsoft. Every single one of them is now in the energy business.
I think this quote just nails it. While we've all been distracted by the cool new AI models, the very foundation they're built on is being totally revolutionized. So why is this happening right now? The answer is AI's absolutely insane appetite for energy. To really get why this is happening, you have to wrap your head around the sheer amount of electricity that modern AI needs. It is unlike anything we have ever seen in the history of computing.
So let's start small. A single one of NVIDIA's new B200 AI chips, just one, draws 1,200 watts of power. That's more than a lot of household microwaves, and it's running 24/7, just for one single component.
Okay, now let's scale that way up. A big data center cluster for training AI models can demand 500 megawatts of continuous power. That's enough electricity to power an entire mid-sized city, running non-stop all day, every day.
And now, the global picture. By 2030, it's projected that AI data centers are going to eat up 945 terawatt-hours of electricity every single year. That's such a giant number, it's kind of hard to even picture. So let's put it into perspective.
And here it is. This chart really shows the crisis we're in. The electricity needed just for AI data centers is on track to be the same as the entire yearly consumption of Japan, a huge, modern, industrial country. Our public grids were never, ever designed for this kind of focused, sudden surge in demand.
So if you're one of these tech giants and the public grid can't give you the power you need, what do? Where do you turn? Well, for a growing number of them, the answer is a technology that's been completely reimagined for our time: nuclear power.
I want you to meet the Small Modular Reactor, or SMR for short. This little guy is the key piece of tech that's making this whole shift possible. The basic idea is to take all the power of nuclear energy and make it smaller, more flexible, and way faster to build.
Yeah, so forget those giant, sprawling nuclear plants with the huge cooling towers you see in pictures. SMRs are a totally different beast. They're designed to be built in a factory and then put together right where the power is needed, like, say, right next door to a massive data center.
And this approach gives them three huge advantages. First, they're small, fitting on a site just a few football fields big. Second, building them in a factory, kind of like a car, brings the costs way down. And third, and this is probably the most important part, their safety systems are built right into the design. They often use things like gravity, basic physics, to shut down and cool themselves safely without a human ever needing to flip a switch.
And what's really cool is that this isn't just a concept on a drawing board. This is a real model, the GE Hitachi BWRX 300, and it's already being built. It kicks out 300 megawatts of clean power, it lasts for 60 years, and you can build one in just 2 to 3 years. That is a tiny fraction of the time it takes to build a traditional plant. So, as you can imagine, this technology has kicked off an intense race among the tech giants. They're not just investing a little bit here and there. They are scrambling to lock down their own private clean energy sources so they can get a leg up in this AI revolution.
And the commitments they're making are just staggering. You've got Microsoft helping bring the famous 3 Mile Island plant back to life. Google has already signed the first ever corporate deal for SMR power. Amazon is aiming for 5 gigawatts. That is a massive amount of power. And even companies like Meta are building their own gas plants, just as a temporary bridge while they figure out their nuclear strategy.
And check out how fast this is all moving. This isn't science fiction. Microsoft's nuclear power deal comes online in 2028. The first brand new SMRs are going to start powering data centers by the end of this decade. This future is literally just a few years away from being our reality.
So what does all this mean? What happens when the companies that control the cloud also control their own nuclear power plants? This isn't just a story about data centers anymore. It's about the future of our entire digital and physical world.
First off, you just have to follow the money. The market for these SMRs is set to explode, from less than $1 billion to almost $4 billion in just 5 years. That's an incredible wave of investment, and it's being driven almost entirely by this new hunger from the tech industry.
And for you and me, the impacts are going to be pretty direct. Building your own power plant is expensive, right? So that could be higher prices for cloud services. But on the flip side, AI tools that are powered by their own dedicated nuclear reactors, they're going to be incredibly reliable, totally immune to blackouts. We might also see the tech map of the world change, with data centers being built not where internet cables are, but where it's easiest to build a new power plant.
And all of this leaves us with one final, really critical question. As the wealthiest companies on the planet build their own private, perfect energy infrastructure, who's left to invest in the public grid, the grid that powers our homes, our schools, our hospitals? That right there is the central challenge we're going to face in this new AI-powered atomic age.